Volchansk, northeastern Ukraine. Before the war, a city of 17,000 people. This is where the most intense fighting is going on right now. The Russians tried to open a new front in the area. The Ukrainians received help from the West at the last minute. The key was the agreement to use weapons to attack targets on Russian territory. We are grateful, and I can say this publicly. We are grateful to President Biden that they recently allowed us to use HIMARS launchers in the Kharkiv region against targets on Russian territory. In addition to the United States, more than a dozen other countries supporting Kiev have made a similar decision. This is another red line drawn by the Kremlin, which it has decided to cross in the face of Ukraine's growing problems.
As this war has evolved, NATO's support has evolved, and I welcome that allies are easing restrictions on the use of weapons. We need to remember what this is. This is a war of aggression. Russia has attacked Ukraine, and Ukraine has the right of self-defense.
The decision came on the eve of the first peace summit that Ukraine is holding in Switzerland. It is meant to be an attempt to work out a roadmap for ending the conflict. And while no breakthrough decisions are expected, the declarations that will be made during it will determine the direction of each country's policy toward Ukraine. Kiev's demands for Russia to withdraw from all occupied territories, they will certainly be upheld, but only to be abandoned later in the further negotiation process, because it is impossible as of today for Russia to withdraw from occupied territories without an offensive victory for Ukraine. And in turn, Ukraine has no chance as of today to carry out such an offensive effectively. A significant fact is the lack of participation in the summit by both Russian and Chinese representatives, who are beginning to side more and more clearly with the Kremlin in the conflict. The key will certainly be the position of the Joe Biden administration, which is keen to end the active phase of the conflict before the November U.S. presidential elections, which they will be able to proclaim as a success for the Democrats. Much also depends on the next NATO summit in Washington, D.C. It looks like this is some sort of attempt to create a narrative that would somehow come together at the Washington summit and result perhaps finally in some sort of decision that will be strategic and a response to the increasing Russian provocations and to pro-Russian Chinese policies. Hence the warning, addressed mainly to countries in our region by research institutes. According to experts, Russia will look for a field for further provocations in the Baltic Sea region and the countries of NATO's eastern flank. The threat of destabilization is expected to be another bargaining chip in a possible peace negotiation process. Kamil Czaska, TV Republika.